Hello everybody, welcome to Weigh-In Time. I am Patrick. It is the Sunday weigh-in, so drop your gains, your losses, your tips and your tricks into the comment section below. And of course, if you haven't done so already, if you like this video, wait until the end obviously, and then like, comment and subscribe. Now this video I wanted to do because I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and obviously if you are maybe at the start, middle or end of your weight loss journey, something like this might have happened to you. And the reason I'm doing it is because A, it's been in my memory a lot, but B, it happens to everyone. And I want to share some of the moments which basically made me cry about weight and how big I was. And then if a little bit later on in the video, I'm going to tell you some of the things that made me cry, but this time in happiness when I actually lost the weight. And also I'm going to explain to you how I still avoid things to this day, even when I was absolutely at my thinnest, because my brain hadn't caught up to my body that I had lost weight. So first of all, I want to start off by saying that, that these things have happened, and most of these things happen while I was around people. As you know, there are going to be multiple times where you look at the mirror and you might start crying, which has happened to me various times. But all of these things happen with people and it makes it worse. Like for example, the first one which I wanted to mention was I was outside in the back garden of a place that I used to rent, and I had friends with me. Now, anybody knows if you've got male friends, they are going to take the mick out of you just in general, but this happened, and of course they are probably the worst people to have around you. So I was sitting in a sort of like a plastic deck chair. You can see where this is going. Now I do have a picture. Now literally a split second before this happened, this picture was taken, so I'm going to pop it up on the screen. This was me. As you can tell, I was having a laugh, having a joke, sitting down in this chair, and then literally the chair obliterated. It smashed into like smithereens, and I fell backwards and I hit the back of my head on one of the sliding doors. Now, obviously, these things happen to anybody. Chairs like this aren't made very well. I was 27.5 stone at the time, and of course my friends laughed, and I laughed along as well because I didn't want to show that I was emotional. But as soon as I got inside and I was alone, I burst into tears. I was absolutely mortified. Now, this is something which has happened, you know, going to happen to a lot of people, but you know, you're not alone. If anybody is, like if you're with someone and this happens too, just don't laugh about it, but don't make them feel sort of uncomfortable and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, that kind of thing. Just pass it off, try and ignore it, and just act like it didn't happen and then move on, because it's going to make you feel, make that person feel a lot better. The second one again happens to be to do with chairs, but this is slightly different. There was about 12 of my friends, and we went, we booked a restaurant. Now this restaurant was like on a Friday or Saturday night. It was really, really busy. And we got there, and the only table that they had available was a booth. Now, anybody who, I hate booths. Like I really, like to this day, I do not like booths. Even at my slimmest, didn't like booths, only because they're just quite tight. Now, I wasn't able to, obviously, as you can imagine, fit into the booth because I was too large. Now, the problem as well is that there weren't any other tables available, so I had to, so basically all of my friends sat in the booth, and then they had to get me a bar stool so that I could sit at the, like kind of the entrance to the booth, because I couldn't fit in, and I was mortified again. Obviously, my friends kind of skipped sort of over that one, but there were loads of people in the restaurant that saw what happened, and a few people laughed as well, which I don't understand why they would laugh, because it's just a horrible thing to do, but they did, and obviously it just makes you feel even worse. Went into the bathroom, cried again. Yeah, I spent a lot of my time back then crying and being depressed. So yeah. And another thing, when, again, mostly it comes to like seats and chairs. There was one which I went to, which was a like a the Crystal Maze sort of thing. There's one in Tenby, and I remember going to that, and I wasn't able to get into a few of the areas in the Crystal Maze because the entrances were too small and I wasn't able to fit in. So I wasn't able to take part in those activities. Another thing was basically when I was on a flight. So this happened a couple of times when I was bigger, and I would have to call an attendant over because I needed an additional seatbelt extender, and that is always a mortifying thing to have to ask for. But you know, obviously you've got to be safe. You've got to make sure that you can fit in the seat and all that kind of stuff. And we know that economy isn't the biggest seat in any realm of this universe, but obviously I had to ask for a seatbelt extender as well there. Now, when I actually got to Florida, which is where we were going, I went to Disney World. I think it's Disney World or Disneyland, whichever one's in Florida. And we were there was a big queue to get onto a ride. It was the start of the day. It was the first time. I was so excited because I had never ever been to an amusement park before. And I remember that they had a seat. So there was a massive queue. There were like hundreds of people in this queue trying to get into this ride, and they had a seat at the front, or a couple of seats, and one of them was the standard seat, and then one of them was the extra large seat. And basically they had them in the front to show that whether or not people could fit in them. And I was going to wait until the very last minute when I got to the front of the line, and you know, just see if I could fit in, and then you know, hopefully I would. However, somebody that I saw who's around about my size sat in it, and they could fit in it. So I was like, okay, that was absolutely fine. So anyway, I thought, right, I'll just go to the front, I'll check it, and I didn't fit. And unfortunately, that was the same seat that every single ride had, and I wasn't able to fit in it. Now, there were hundreds of people in this line, and of course, when you're bored waiting in line, you literally lock eyes with anything which is not to do with just being bored. So of course, everyone looked at me sitting in the seat, and then everybody was not, I mean, I don't want to say they laughed because I don't know, because at that point I was so mortified. I just said, oh no, okay, that's fine. And I basically ended up going on their equivalent of the log flume, because I was able to get on that, and and literally I spent all day pretty much going around a kid's ride on the log flume, and I didn't get to do any of the big rides. One thing which I will say as well, and I mentioned this at the beginning, it takes a long time for your brain to reach your body. So as a result, you think to yourself that you're bigger than you are when you've lost the weight. So even when I was going to Disneyland again, I actually thought, you know, I'm not going to, I mean, at this point I'd lost like 12.5 stone. I was thinking, right, I'm not going to be able to fit on these rides. I didn't even want to go because I thought I wouldn't want to fit in them. Obviously I did fit in them and everything was fine. But it's just a horrible, horrible moment. And the last moment, which really, really wants to resonate in the kind of weight side of things, I'll talk about happier sort of things in a second. But when I was on a boat, well, I say I was on a boat. Basically, we were doing, again, it was in America, and we were going to like a little river sort of cruise thing. The boat was really, really small, and I managed to get on the boat. But then when we got there, we all had to be put into sort of dinghies and leveled out and sent to the island. And I stepped on the dinghy, and they basically said no. And they actually used the words, I don't think they spoke English very well, and they just said the words too fat. And I had to get back into the boat. And of course I couldn't join anyone, so it was just me and the staff of the boat just sitting there. I couldn't afford data either, so I didn't even have my phone to go through. TikTok wasn't even a thing back then. So those are the really sad sort of moments that made me cry, as well as obviously the times where I just cried looking in the mirror and kind of that sort of stuff. However, there were a few times after I lost weight that I really made me cry, but in a happy way. So I need to get some new trousers because obviously I had lost weight and I needed new trousers. And previously I had to go to, you know, like either specialist places like High and Mighty, there you go, that's one, and big tall shops and order them online. But I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. I've lost some weight. So I tried with like I think it was like a 42-inch trouser. And that was way too big. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's good. I got excited and I was like, that's really good. So I started with a 38-inch and it was too big. And then at the point where I got to a 36, I was like, I'm gonna, you know, if this fits me, I'm just amazed, like it'll be amazing. And it didn't fit me. And then it went to a 34 and finally, 32. I managed to fit into a 32-inch trouser from Next, and other supermarkets or other clothes places are available. And genuinely, I put them on, I did them up, I looked at myself, and I burst into tears. With a nice, happy tears, that was. I remember, obviously I was like, yeah, I'm buying these trousers. Oh, no, what else that I did? I thought that the trousers might be maybe like not functioning properly, like as in like wrong size. So I actually went out to get another pair of a different style of trouser in 32, bring them in, tried them on, and they fit. Because I didn't even believe it, you see, and that's what I mean about my brain. The other thing was when I actually paid for the trousers at the checkout, I was saying to the lady, these are 32. And she was like, yes, they are. Do you need another size? No, I was like, they're 32. They fit me. And she was like, okay, yeah. And I was like, no, you have no idea how happy I am right now. These are 32. I used to be 52. These are 32, they fit me. She thought I was crazy. But no, it was just a really nice experience. And it's little things like that that make a weight loss journey. And even on my second time around, like this shirt, for example, this shirt a couple of months ago wouldn't fit me at all. And now it kind of goes all the way around and I can do it up and all that kind of stuff. Well, I could do it up, but I'm missing one of the buttons, so I can't do it up. So happy, nice little weight loss thing there. And also, I think the going back to Disney again and taking one of those rides, and I actually got in the seat and I sat there before it took off, and I just smiled. I was so happy knowing how far that I had come from a few years before not being able to fit in that seat to just sitting there and being ready to go, and I was smiling. Just to let you know, I was not smiling through the whole ride because it was petrifying and I'm never doing anything like that again, no matter how much I weigh. There were a couple of other moments. So one of the weirdest ones was when I lost weight, my shoe size changed. Let me know in the comments section below if this has happened to you when you've lost weight. I used to be a size 12 and my shoe size has actually gone down now to a size 10 and I've stuck to that. Weird, isn't it? I didn't know shoe sizes could change, but yeah, all of my shoes used to be a size 12 because I've still got shoes in my family house, which my dad wears because he's a size 12, and he's like, oh yeah, okay, well any of the shoes that you've got, just let me have them. Another really happy moment for me, and this was sort of a really memorable, and I actually will show you I'll wait for the picture. I remember I was working long time ago now, and there was a guy there who I was working with, and I was talking to him about losing 12.5 stone, and he was like, I weigh 12.5 stone, that is amazing. So I remember thinking, okay, so I have lost you in weight. And then I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lift you up. So I bear hugged him and lifted him up, and that picture is here. So as you can see, and I thought to myself, this is absolutely amazing. Like, I used to weigh myself plus you as well. I was a weird experience, and it was such a happy moment realizing how well that I had done. So that is where I am. I'm still on my journey to get back to where I was, and it's going well. I'll give you a weight loss update soon. Hopefully these stories have kind of gone to show that you are not alone. These things have happened to way more people than you can imagine. They've happened to me, and there's so many more of them that I can't even remember. And there are so many more happy moments to come through your weight loss journey and as you get more confident within yourself. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little story. If you have, give the video a like. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. And I will see you again for another video. Whatever time of day you're watching this, have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, and I'll catch you next time on another Weigh In Time. I'll see you soon.